Okay, what I've got here is the Guillows Cessna 170. I've pretty much gotten it all put together, the fuselage anyhow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work through making this thing electronic RC control. And there's the telephone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect up the receiver, smaller battery, the ESC, some servos, the prop, motor, and so on. Try to get all that stuff to fit into this guy. So let's see how that all works out. Okay, what I've done here is I've positioned this servo, as you see here. It's going to control the elevators out back. So I've got that in place. And there's where I'm going to connect the little control wire that'll run through the fuselage back here and into the horn that I'm going to connect on the back of this elevator back here. So that's where we're at the moment. Okay, in my previous little video, I had the servo at this position pointed downward, much like you'd have this guy pointed down like that. So what I've done is I've turned it upright. I think I get a better angle when I run the little wire cable that's going to run toward the back. I get a little better angle with it going that way than if it was in the downward position like this. So I'm going to give that a shot and maybe even try it the other way just as an idea to see what works best. So anyway, we'll move on from here. Okay, I've got the servo rod and the servo for the elevator. That's the rod there. It'll connect to the elevator here. Probably use a little horn on the back here somewhere underneath where that rod then can connect to, which then will give me my servo control. So then I've got which will get my elevator control working. It took me a while to get that wire rod in where I wanted it to, but managed to get it to work. Everything's good and tight. Got that figured out. And then I'm going to go back to working on this servo that's going to control the ailerons on the wing. So I'm getting them figured out. I'm thinking I might use some micro tubing and some fishing line. I've never seen anyone do this, but I might try some fishing line through some micro tubing, which then I can use to control the ailerons. I run the micro tubing along here, then run the fishing line from the servo through that tubing to the ailerons on both sides and see if I can get that to work. I haven't found anything on YouTube at all that looks easy enough to assemble, so I'm going to try a little something on my own. From here, off we go. Okay, you'll note I've got the motor installed. Had to beef up the front end a little bit to get the dimension just right, so when I go to put the cowling on, it fits right in place there. And I'll glue the cowling into the model there. Keep my angle just right, like so. So that works out real well. Then got the leads just hanging. We'll connect them shortly through the frame, and haven't decided yet where to put the battery and all its attachments, so we'll get to that. So anyway, there's the motor in place. Okay, what they got here, I've got the electronic speed controller into place and got that in the motor connected together and stuffed up there in the front of the nose. I'm going to put the receiver somewhere in this area here and plug everything into that. And what I've done on the bottom, I've opened up the bottom, as you see there, and this is where the battery will fit in this location. And then I'll do a little magnet door or something in this area here. So that's where we're at the moment. Getting a little closer to where we can enclose everything and tissue everything and give it a try. Moving a little bit further forward, I got the electronic stuff in somewhat place where it's going to reside at the moment. Things look a little awkward, but they'll be a little cleaned up here shortly. Anyway, I'm working on putting on this front landing gear, which is going to mount to that front former right there. Put some pieces of balsa wood in there on either side of those legs, and then I'll put a cross member across there, hold that bar in place. So we'll get that in there and get back to you on that step. Okay, in order for my ailerons to work with the up and down motion, I'm going to put the little micro control horn. I'm going to stick one on there. I'll do the same on the other side. And of course I've got this is a demonstration mode here. This servo there, I'm going to connect to this fishing line. And that fishing line runs through this micro tubing, which will run along in a straight line fashion across the bottom underside of the wing, which will then attach, of course, to the micro control horn on the aileron, and that'll give me control of the ailerons from that servo, and that servo there is going to control both the left-hand side and the right-hand side for my ability to bank and turn. So I'm kind of hoping that works out. It's very lightweight, and I believe it'll really help me do the job pretty well. As I mentioned before, I'm going to use the little fine tubing that runs to that front servo. I'm going to run that fishing line through the tubing. It's going to then connect to the aileron here and do the same on this side with the aileron control, and then I'm going to hook up these mini micro control horns, put one of those on each of the aileron, and then glue the fishing line to that, and then the servo, of course, as it's set up, will then be able to control my ailerons. See how that works out. Pretty well here. I've got the model almost completely tissue papered. I'm going to shrink it once I get it all positioned in place. I went ahead and installed a little tail wheel, 3/4 inch tail wheel on a little piece of metal wire, and mounted that. You can't see it in there, but it's mounted inside the end of the former there, much like I did the ones on the front. I got a little work to do here still yet, but I got the front wheel assembly glued into place like I previously showed you. I was going to put a couple of pieces of balsa across the inside to hold it in place. And in this case, it's pretty damn sturdy right there. It ain't going nowhere. So I'm going to finish up the tissuing, and then in the meantime, I've got that And then I went ahead and I tissued the wings. You can see here, got them all tissued up and looking good. Got my ailerons all exposed and ready to go. And then once I get that in position on the plane, it'll sit in this location here, of course, where I've got some cutouts already made for it. And then we'll tissue paper over that, and or use the piece that's right there as a flap and clean it up, make it look good. So that's the progress we've made so far. Okay, since I last shot some video, we've wrapped up all the tissue work pretty much. Got the wheels on the front, got a little 3/4 inch wheel here on the back, probably saw that just a moment ago. Got my rear elevator control hooked up in this regard here. Of course it's upside down, so we'll show you the right side up here in just a quick video soon enough. Got the prop on the front, got that all working good. All the servos are doing what they're supposed to. Got the aileron control wires, fishing line set up to connect here momentarily on both sides. So it's looking good. I had to switch the wires to the prop because it was going backwards. The plane wanted to fly backwards. So I got that all squared away. Got a hot battery. So we'll get all that in, and then we'll figure out a way to do a little cover on the back port here. So the next video we'll show it to you upright. Okay folks, got the battery hooked up, got the aileron connected up on both sides, and if we try we can get the props going good. Nothing wants to take off. We've got our elevators working and aileron. So we got all kind of stuff happening now. So other than getting the battery compartment taken care of, all the other systems are go. Maybe paint the plane, or at least get the little decals put on it. We should be soon enough to fly.